welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Rue, and today we are going to be trying out not only a new palette but also a new brand that I've never reviewed before. So this is the Nomad Cosmetics Haunted Europe palette, and I loved this color story from the very first moment I saw it. It did get discontinued and then they brought it back for this year's Halloween season. It is temporarily back. I'm not even sure if it's still available by the time this goes up, but when I saw that it was back, I just had to get my hands on it because for all I know it could be my last chance to get it, and it is one that I have wanted in my collection since the very first moment that I saw it. So yeah, I'm super excited to be not only trying out a new palette but also a new brand, and a brand that I've been admiring from afar for a long time already. So yeah, I did want to also, I already got rid of the box that it came in, like the little packaging, but I did keep this little card because I wanted to read it. So the destination was medieval Europe. The coordinates are haunted castle and eerie forests, and the inspiration is dark fairy tales. And then there's a little paragraph here. It says, picturesque European landscapes dotted with Gothic castles and mysterious forests beckon you to experience the dark fairy tales and medieval myths swirling across the continent. Over the centuries, enthralling and ghoulish stories were passed down from villager to villager, creating the legendary fables that both harrow and entertain us still today. The spooky fortress, haunted by unsettled spirits and eerie backwoods full of fantastical creatures, invite you to be on the hunt to discover Europe's most spectacular, scary tales. So I thought that was really cute and I wanted to share it. So I did keep that from the original packaging, and then this is what it looks like on the outside. And then on the back, it does say design inspired by the dark fairy tales of Europe. So yeah, I'm super excited to jump in. So let's go ahead and create this beautiful look you see right here. Hey guys, so for my first look, I'm dying to play with this mint shade. I think it looks absolutely stunning. I'm just trying to figure out which mattes I want to play with. I kind of want to not do the green. I was actually thinking of doing the blues with that mint, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm also realizing that a lot of the mattes are neutral shades, which is great for like a neutral with a pop of color, but there's just a couple colorful mattes, so I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. But I really want this all over the eyelid, and I'm thinking these shades, maybe I'll bring in a tiny bit of the green. We're gonna start with Mary King's Close on my brow bone, and then we'll go into Bran Castle and Black Forest, and we're gonna see where that puts us for mattes. So I'm just gonna go in with the JS5, and I'm just gonna lightly pop that all over the brow bone. It's just gonna be a nice transition shade to help with blending. And that's literally all I wanted for that shade. Next, I want to go into that like almost gray blue Bran Castle. The embossings are so beautiful. I'm low-key sad that dipping into them, they're gonna go away super fast because I love the embossings. Alright, so I'm just packing the shades tight into the crease first. I will blend it out after, but I want the shades to be pretty intense in the crease. And we're gonna go into Black Forest as well, just on the same brush, and we're gonna pack that on the rest of the crease. All right, the pigment on these is really nice so far. Seems to be pretty easy to build up, and also just the initial payoff is really quite nice. So let's go ahead and blend those out a little bit. The brush I used for those is just this flattish fluffy brush, so it's got a little bit of fluffiness to it, but good for packing tight into the crease. There's no number on it. We're gonna go in with this one here. This is the JS6, and I just want to blend those shades out a little bit, so I'm gonna pick up just a tiny bit more of Bran's Castle, and we're just gonna lightly blend out those edges just so it's a little bit further up and more visible. And I'm gonna do the same with Black Forest. I'm just picking a little bit up And we're just gonna work on softening those edges and also just having the shade pulled up a little bit more. I really think for this look, that mint shade is gonna be the star of the show. That's kind of what I'm wanting, is for that to be the main thing that's noticeable. So I like that these darker shades, they're like gray with a hint of blue, which is cute. Very like blue leaning gray. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that blend. I don't want it to be too big of a look today. We're just kind of going a little bit simpler. I'm so excited to do my using every single shade in the palette for this palette. It's probably going to be in another palette or two just because after doing my first impressions, I like to play with something else. And I really want to pull in the Bloom palette now that it's fixed and ready to go. I want to play with the Lonely Scarecrow. And I still have quite a few palettes that are just from like previous years that I haven't done it with yet, so I don't know which ones I'll play with first, but this one, it will be probably in a little bit here. This will be the first look I do, and then I will set it aside just for a bit, but I don't know, I do really want to keep playing with it because the shimmer pink and purple, oh gosh, I want to play with those super bad. I feel like on the eye, these two shades look really similar. Like the gray just built up to be very dark. Maybe I built it up a little too much, but it kind of looks like I only have one shade on the eye. I'm just gonna pop in a little bit more of the blue one, the Black Forest, just on this outer edge. I mean, like there's a slight difference, but not as much as I would have liked. My eye's also watering, so I don't think we're gonna put anything on my lower lash line today, which sucks because I did want to try as many shades as I could, but I think we're doing a pretty simple look today. So I'm going to go in with some glitter primer, and I use glitter primer with all of my shimmers, and I'm just putting that all over the lid. All right, we're gonna for sure go in pretty much completely with Highgate Cemetery, but then I might also bring in either Big Bad Wolf or the Catacombs just on this edge here. I'm not sure which yet, but we're gonna just start by putting this everywhere on the lid. This is giving, like, oh gosh, what's the word? Like, I want to say almost ghoulish vibes, but that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually thinking of a specific part of the game RuneScape. If you know, you know. It's, oh gosh, I wish I could remember. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's throwing me back to a specific like line of quests in RuneScape. It's like spooky quests where there's a bunch of like zombies and you collect this like plasma type thing. Not like, I don't know guys, it's throwing me back. I've been kind of thinking about playing RuneScape again if I can get a second computer, because there's a lot of grinding in RuneScape, and it's like if I could get a second computer so that while I'm editing I can be like chopping trees and stuff. You guys, I'm thinking about it because honestly I just love it for the nostalgia, and I don't know. Okay, let's go into Big Bad Wolf. Or Catacombs. Which one do I want? I want to use Catacombs because I'm not sure how often I'll have an opportunity to use it, but I want to use this one just because I feel like it will match over here a little better. I'm torn. We're gonna use, oh gosh. I mean, I think that one would look good too. I think they're gonna look very similar. Let's go into the Catacombs. And I'm just going to take a very, very small amount of it. And I just want to put it right in between that green shade and the mattes, just to help make the blend a little bit more smooth. I'm getting a little bit of a patchy spot here, but I should be able to touch it up easily enough. I usually have to touch up my mattes after placing shimmers, so I'm going to wait and see if it repacks easily enough, because then I don't care. But if it stays patchy, I will let you guys know. Okay, just, it's barely there, but I think it really did help over on that edge. Okay, we're gonna grab a little bit more of the Black Forest, which is the matte that I had over here, and just rebuild where I got a little bit of the patchiness. And it seems to be laying back down just fine. I really like it looks like Cemetery, or the Catacombs, I mean. It's like a black with gold. It kind of reminds me of one of the shades in my Devour palette, and I love that shade. So I am actually pretty excited to play with that some more. I'm also wanting to try this, that mint shade as a topper on something, because I feel like it would make a really good topper. It does look beautiful on its own like this, but I did have to build it up a little bit, so I feel like it probably has the potential to be a good topper as well. I'm just touching up this matte as well a little bit. Brand Castle. Now I don't know what I want to put on my inner corner, and I think I'll try to put something on my lower lash line. I just won't pull it all the way out to where my eye is watering. For my inner corner, I feel like this one, I think the gold will look better. I'm curious about how similar the two golds are as well. Actually, they look a little bit different. I think on the eye they look very similar, but one is definitely more like, this one looks like a gold coin and this one looks like, I don't know. They're different though, which I appreciate, but I think we're gonna go in with this one, which is Huska Castle. I think we're gonna go in with this gold for the inner corner, and then I'm gonna clean everything up and see what I'm thinking for the lower lash line. That castle embossing, all the embossings on it are so beautiful. All right, so we're just popping that on the inner corner. All right, I think that does look really pretty. I'm gonna clean up the fallout, and I always get fallout. I never tap off my brushes, so I don't really judge a palette for the fallout. I want to tap off my brushes, but I just never do. I never think about it. I always forget. So I'm just putting a little bit of makeup remover, and I'm just gonna clean it up. Okay, I think I actually want to throw something on my brow bone, and I want something that's gonna pop on my lower lash line. I'm wondering if I should go with the matte green and then top it with that mint. So I'm thinking on my brow bone, I'm gonna go in with Hola Bicue Forest, and then on my lower lash line, Grendel topped with Highgate Cemetery. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start with the brow bone, and we're just gonna place a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a shimmer. Just like that. Now I am gonna throw just a little bit of eye primer on my lower lash line. And we're gonna start with Grendel, the matte green. And we're gonna top that with Highgate Cemetery. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit and pop it over. Oh wow, that pigment. That's kind of what I expected it to look like on its own. Although I really do like this because, like I said, it threw me back to RuneScape. And this is a little darker than I expected it, but similar. And I think as a topper, that looks insanely beautiful over that green. It just makes me realize how versatile that shade is gonna be. I can't wait to put it over top of some other stuff too. Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. That's insane. Okay. Wow. I'm happy with that. All right, that's all we're doing for eyeshadows for the look. So I am gonna go ahead and hop off, finish everything off, and then I'll come back, show you the completed look, and give you my first impressions on my first ever Nomad Cosmetics palette. Hey guys, we are back with the completed look, and I am really happy with it. To finish everything off, I went in with this cream gel liner from ColourPop. This one is in the shade Icebreaker, and I feel like it matches that lid shade so beautifully. Oh my goodness. For mascara, I went in with my Megafy Lengthening Mascara. I got this one in my September Eyescream Beauty Box. So far, I'm really liking it. It does a good job with lengthening. So I usually use this one now. I've used it a few times only, but like I try to use this one if I'm not wearing lashes, and then my other one if I am wearing lashes, just because I do feel like this one does a better job than the other one that's currently in my collection. And I only have the two. So that was all I did for my eyes. For my face, I went in with my very empty e.l.f. Sun Touchable primer. For foundation, I went in with my Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator foundation. This one's in the shade Light. I do have to lighten it up just a little bit, so I pull in some of my Juvia's Place Concealer in 24, and that combo usually I'm able to get a really good color match. To set, I went in with my Wet n Wild Loose Setting Powder. This one's in the Photo Focus. So far, I don't mind it. I don't really have any complaints. I have pretty normal skin. It's not super dry. It's not super oily. So bear that in mind. At least that's what I think my skin type is. I'm definitely not oily. I might be a little dry, especially in the winter. Canadian winter dries everyone's skin out. But I think I'm pretty normal skin for that kind of thing. And then for my lips, I went in with the Lippy Pencil from ColourPop in Bumble. I colored the whole lip in with this, and then I just topped it with my Unearthly Cosmetics. This one is Predator. It's from the Devour collection, just so it kind of gets that shine of green, which I really, really like. And then for my cheeks, I went in with my Game Beauty blush. This is from the Persona 5 collection. I love this collection. I love this game. I was actually talking about this game a little bit last night. I was at a masquerade party, although when this is going up, that would have been a very long time ago already. But I absolutely love this collection. This one is in the shade Queen. And then for highlight, I wanted a green highlight, and this is the only green I have in my collection, so I went in with Alien Ice from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I believe that is everything I used to finish off this look, so let's go ahead and zoom out and talk about the palette and my first impressions. Okay guys, so for my first thoughts on this palette here, I genuinely don't really have any complaints. I will say that on the eye, these two shades do look very, very similar. I thought all of the mattes that I tried performed really well. Same with the shimmers. I love this one both on its own and as a topper. I really, really want to put it on some other shades. I'm wondering if this one will also be a really pretty topper then, just because this one, like, do you see how gorgeous that looks? I can literally turn this into a shimmer just by topping it with that, and I think that's absolutely stunning. So I do want to play around more and see what other shimmers can be toppers. These are the two lightest, so I'm assuming it's going to be those two, but I mean, maybe some of the other ones will too. I'm sure I'll experiment a little bit with that when I do my using every single shade in a palette, and I feel like with this palette, I'll probably get 3 more looks minimum out of that, and who knows, maybe I'll get a couple extra just because. But yeah, so far I'm really happy with the quality. I've spoken to the brand a little bit on Instagram just through comments, and I like to partake. They do these little monthly challenges and they're super fun. I've started taking part in those, and just all in all, the brand seems super genuine and down to earth and very kind to literally everyone that they interact with, from what I can see, which I really do appreciate. They don't just look at me and ignore my comment because I have such a small amount of followers. They actually are like, if they like my makeup, they're like, wow, that looks great. They, you know, they're super, super nice, which I appreciate. I know a lot of brands aren't going to do that if you're super small, but I've had a few other brands do that as well. But I did just want to mention that, like, them as people also seem really, really great. And yeah, I'm so excited. They also said that this formula is their older formula, so their newer products from these ones are better, but honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with this, so I'm not sure what they could have done to make it better so far from like the few that I've tried, but I don't know. I really, really enjoy the palette so far, and I'm excited to test the rest of it out. But yeah, so far I'm very pleased. I think the packaging is beautiful. I think the color story is beautiful. I think the shades work beautifully, and I think the brand seems very, very kind just as a whole as well. So I am super happy, and I'm really excited to play more and to have a Nomad palette in my collection now. So with that said, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you wanted to let me know, do you have any Nomad palettes in your collection, or are you wanting to get some, or have you never even heard about the brand until today? Let me know down below. And lastly, if you want to see more of my content, you want to see me play with that palette more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I am currently doing a series where I use every single shade in every single palette in my collection. And what that entails is I take a palette and I continue making makeup looks until I have used every single shade at least once, and I turn that into a video. Sometimes it's 2 looks, sometimes it's 3 looks. I think the most I've done is 3 looks to use every single shade so far, but yeah, I just keep playing with the palette until I have used it up completely, and it's been a lot of fun. So there's a lot of those on my channel so far, and more to come, which I'll be doing also with this Haunted Europe palette when the time is right. So yeah, with that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!